Charles with Engineering, and in today's video, we're gonna remove the ECU out of this 992.2 Carrera Base so that we can send it over to Engineering and get it flashed and tuned. So the first thing that we're gonna wanna do is we need to put the spoiler in the up position. So in order to do that, turn the car on, go to the spoiler extended button on the dash, push it, and the spoiler will go up. After we've raised the spoiler, we're then gonna open the frunk and the rear deck lid. The tools needed for this job are a flathead screwdriver, a few wrenches. In this particular case, I've got a 1/4 inch and 3/8 inch drive, a few extensions. You'll need a 10mm socket, a T45, and a T30 Torx. All right, so we're gonna start by opening up the deck lid here. We do need to remove this fan shroud. So in order to do that, we do have to remove the oil cap, and this fan shroud will just pop right up. All right, we're gonna go ahead and set this on the table, reinstall the oil cap. We don't want any debris falling in here, so go ahead and get that closed back up. The next step is going to be removing the fans. This is pretty straightforward. Just gonna pop up on them, pull them out. There's an electrical connector on the back side of it. You'll see this little red clip. You need to pull that red clip out, push down on the connector, and it'll pop out. So do that with both fans. Okay. All right, in this next step, we need to remove the upper taillight and the lower taillight portion. In order to do that, we're first gonna remove these weather shrouds that cover the upper taillight. These just pop up, pull out. All right, so the next step after removing those shrouds is taking out the 6 T30 bolts that hold on the upper taillight portion. So we're gonna go ahead and take those off. This whole taillight assembly is just gonna come out. It'll just gently slide out. You'll notice there's 2 connectors on the taillight. And if you go underneath, they have that same red tab that you saw on the other one. So you just have to slide that forward and these connectors pop out just like that. So just be sure to do that on both sides. But once both of these connectors are undone, the whole taillight assembly will just come out in one piece. So we have some screws kind of on the top of the bumper cover here. So we have one here, one here. We're gonna take those out. We're also gonna take out these bolts that hold on the lower taillight assembly. So these are all T30. When you pull this bolt out, it holds in this upper part of the taillight, you'll notice it comes with like a little spacer. It might come out in 2 pieces, so just be kind of mindful of that as you're pulling this one out. So here comes the bolt, and then here comes the spacer. So those go in like that. Okay, so once all those bolts are out, we do have to remove this lower taillight portion. It is a little bit of an aggressive pull that you have to put on it, so I'm gonna put some tape just for safety measure on the paint so that we don't scratch anything. You may not have to do this, but we're just gonna play it safe and do that in this case. So this part is probably the trickiest part of this whole ECU removal, and I'll try to get this on camera for you guys. If you get your flathead screwdriver, there's actually a little press down tab right down in here. And so what you're gonna need to do is push down on that tab and then pull this taillight out. And it's gonna be a pretty hard pull, so don't be afraid to tug on it. There is, of course, a connector. That's it, that's how you get the taillight out. And you are gonna have to tug it pretty hard because this thing is pressed in here pretty good, so don't be afraid to give it some jam. Okay, so the next step in getting the ECU out is actually removing this whole spoiler assembly. It's actually held on only by 4 T45 Torx. So we're gonna take those out, then we'll move to the electrical connectors, and then we'll have much better access to the ECU itself. All right, for this next step, we do need to remove the electrical connectors that hold the spoiler, or connect to the spoiler, I should say. And it's just these 2 connectors here, this lower one first. And there's a little red tab you poke out and you press on, boom, that one comes out. This next one does require a flathead screwdriver, so let's grab one. Simply grab your flathead, push down on that connector, pops out. We will also need to remove these from the chassis bracket. These just simply slide out. This one you will need to press down on this tab right here. If you push down on that, this will also come out nice and gently. On the taillight bracket to spoiler, there's a little tab here. Just make sure that that's undone. Just pull those up, make sure that that's loose. So the spoiler removal itself is actually pretty straightforward. You could have 2 people do it. It's totally possible with 1 person, but all you need to do is simply tilt back on the spoiler and then slide it forward. and it'll come off in one piece, just like that. There's two 10mm bolts that hold on this weather shield and the bracket itself, as well as another piece that holds on this wiring harness, so just kind of keep that in mind. There's some main power connectors that we're going to remove, so these are located both right here. There's one, and then the other one here, and that's what those two look like. So go ahead and just get your 10mm on there, and we're going to start removing this bracket. So now with those two 10mm bolts out, this little weather shield will kind of slide out. Just want to remove that. So now we just have to remove the 6 ECU connectors, and also there's a little part holding on some wires on the bottom. So in order to do that, you'll want to move from left to right, and there's a small little black tab that you're going to want to push in. That allows this gray tab to slide over and pull the connectors out. There's a small little tab you lift up on, and it opens up where this whole little wire harness sits. So I've undone this tab. Now the wires are kind of free from the bottom of the ECU bracket. So you may need to pull down a little bit. All right, so that will take a little bit of wiggling to kind of modify it out of here, so just take your time with it, and then once it comes out, the ECU comes out with the bracket. So this is what it looks like. Don't send it to us just yet. We want to remove this bracket. It is critical you remove this bracket so this thing is easier to ship. This takes 4 T30 bolts, so we'll do that now, take this bracket off, and then you can get ready to ship the ECU to us. And there you have it, the ECU with the bracket removed, and this will ship straight to M Engineering to get a flash put on it.